Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your presence here today. We felt that we would use our sanctuary instead of our fellowship hall because we wanted you to have social distance and that everybody would be safe. Now, we don't permit a lot of eating and drinking in the house of God, so I would appreciate if you can just get rid of your coffee and get that out of here, because this is God's house. And if I don't have a lot of ushers tonight, so if you please don't waste nothing in the house of God. Let's respect it. Let me say a few things before I bring on some very important people. The black church has always been the house for Afro-Americans. We had to gather there, as I can recall, as a little boy, in mass meetings in churches. And for that reason, we were not allowed to go in a lot of places and meet. So the church became more than a church for Afro-Americans. It was a place where we had to meet to express our feelings, and probably that's why most of our leaders have always been preachers that have always stuck themselves in some very difficult situations. Houses were bombed and churches were bombed because of the clergy have always been the voice for Afro-Americans, and it's not something we asked for. It was forced upon us because in slavery, the only person that were able to stand before a congregation was the preacher. And he had to communicate to them through their music, through his tuning, and to call sing preaching, to give out codes for the slaves when they were going to escape. It started in the preacher. Politicians couldn't get up there. They would have been murdered and lynched. The preacher was the only voice that we ever had to represent us. Sad to say, our Afro-American people don't appreciate the preacher and the church as much as we should. Because if it had not been for preachers and the preachers who spoke, we would not have the freedom that we have today. We put our lives on the line. And now we're back in the church. And the reason why we are back in the church, because the church is the strongest institution still in the Afro-American community. We really don't own nothing, but most every church owns its building. We still don't own much. And when I had to build this church, banks refused me in Summerhill and said poor folk can't build no church. I had to sell bonds, but Dr. Joe Laurie and I met at the Citizen Trust Bank, and we teamed up and said to all the banks, all the churches, put your money in Citizen Trust Bank, and we will create jobs and things for our own people. I have to say, Joe Laurie and I shook up the banks, and I sold bonds all over America and raised my own money and brought along with me Rising Star down the street, Reverend McMichael, and 4 other judges, Reverend J.D. Barnett, all followed me, and we built churches. We didn't want to buy nothing from nobody. We built it from the ground. We had to stick our neck out again, and as a result, now you have mega churches because banks were mad at me, but they got off our back. So we showed them that we could build churches like anyone else. And that is why tonight I've opened the doors of our sanctuary to come back home. Let us not forget to come back home. Now, I want to explain something. I've been the pastor of Mount Carmel Baptist Church for nearly 47 years now. We started in Summerhill. We built this church in 1989. I'm aware of my limitation. We are not political. We're not here tonight because we want to be political. I leave that to the politician. I just want to be a voice in the community for the seniors who don't know much about virtual and don't know much about a computer, and all they can do is guess what's happening. And we decided, Ms. Overstreet and I, to pull together the community, mainly the seniors, who keep asking questions. I don't know what's happening. I don't have a computer. So we thought more people would come, and the seniors are one particularly that we're interested in, to tell you what is happening on Camerton Road and Southwest Atlanta. Now, there are some people, before I present our Honorable Overstreet tonight, I want to acknowledge some people, because once she comes up, I will be silent. I want to acknowledge Mr. Charles Steele, a great friend of mine. Will you stand, Brother Steele, the president of the SCLC. The reason Mr. Steele is here tonight, he put that in one of his bio, when the SCLC were about to close its doors and the lights were cut off, they had no money. Mr. Steele came to me on Sunday morning and told me the sad story. Our congregation took up about $5,000 that morning, paid the lights, cut on the water, and the SCLC has become strong and built a $3 million building as a result of that. And we really played a great role in helping him. He came here twice. And he's here tonight to show his presence, how he feels about what is happening here in the city of Atlanta. I would also like to recognize a young man, Mr. Ricky Brown. Where are you, Ricky? Where you stand? Stand. Ricky Brown is also a member of our congregation. The reason why I want city officials to see this young man spent 13 years in prison and came out of prison, a member of my church. He used to be a radio announcer on WAOK, and I missed him. I didn't know what had happened. He got out there in the world selling drugs and got, put in prison for that and served his time. Came back when they were trying to put him back in jail, and I gave him a little job. And he worked here to save him, and look what he's doing. He has started a program called Next Step Staffing. And actually it's for ex-offenders. So all the young men and women coming out of prison, they go to him, and he trained these young men to go back in society and get a job. That is one of the greatest things I could commend him for. A gentleman saw him, and if you can do anything to assist him with his program, he came here in this congregation and said something I'll never forget. I don't want to rob, I just want a job. And that's why we invited him tonight. And let's pay close attention to what he's doing and try to help him. So that's really one of the things we're having so many problems with crime. This man is here to try to help these young people coming out to give them a job. I'm also happy to see Rob Pitts here tonight, a great friend of mine down through the years. Stand, Rob Pitts. I didn't get a chance to call you. I also, Mr. Paul Howard here. Mr. Paul Howard, I called him, and he might come in at any moment. Mr. Paul Howard, he helped me in many ways to deal with the crime in the neighborhood with gangs. I used to have programs for the youth for Halloween, and one time some gang members came out here and were shooting, and all the kids were running, and I did not know what to do, and called Mr. Paul Howard. He came forward and said, we're going to get these gang members, and they caught them in the next 15 minutes. And I just want to acknowledge him as a great friend, and he has his own law firm now. He did tell me that, and I'm happy to see him still going forward and trying to help in every way that he can. I wanted to also let you know I called Mr. Andrew Young. Mr. Andrew Young told me last night he could not make it. He wanted to be here, but to send greetings to you, to let you know, because he lives in this community, that he is with us in whatever thing we try to do tonight. Send those greetings to you as well. I hope I did not overlook anyone. So at this time, did I overlook anybody else I invite? I did call Miss Shirley Franklin and left her a message about tonight. And I called Miss Keisha Bottom as well to inform her about. I want to say one thing. I want to honor a man, though he's not here, Mr. Jim Maddox. Mr. Jim Maddox, who was the longest councilman to serve. Nobody could defeat him. And I want to say to him, I appreciate all you tried to do for our community as the longest councilman. I just hope that one day, and I still pray, all of us will come together and honor him as the longest council person that had ever been in office. We don't need to forget him, though he's older now, but I want to say to him, we recognize you for all that you've done through the years. Mr. Bill Campbell, you're in the house. I called Mr. Campbell, and Mr. Bill Campbell said he would be here tonight because Mr. Campbell is a gentleman that really, he's a member of this church, and he was a person that helped to widen Campbellton Road, and we were trying to attract investors to come to Southwest Atlanta when we had Fort McPherson open, and we went to him and asked him to open the gate. We were trying to save S&S. They approached me. We will leave the community. We've lost $140,000 because they've closed the gate at Fort Mac. We begged them to open it back, but crime became so powerful and awesome up there in that area, throwing drugs over and coming into the place, they had to close the gate. But I want to let you know we have been working. I want to also inform you, Mount Carmel Baptist Church for the last 20 years have been keeping Campbellton Road clean. When you come down this street and you don't see any trash, the NPU gave me an award for that. We clean it up. I started 20 years ago hiring homeless people, 5 of them, giving them $50 a piece, and got them off the street. And as a result of that, I got several of them, 4 of them, to rent a house. They all pooled their money together and were able to rent a house, and all of them stayed in that house, and now they got jobs, and their lives are productive as a result of what we do. And to this very day, I pick up trash from Sun Trust Bank through Greenbrier all the way back up to Marta Station. So when you see this street clean, it's what we pay people to do out of our church fund. I also helped establish the Greenbrier Merchant Association, which because of COVID, we started that because we want to bring the business together. I'm letting you know what the church does in the community, because I believe a church should not be a place where you just gather, but a place where you can scatter. So we need to go out and reach. Now, our other reason for being here tonight, numbers are powerful. When you have numbers, you have power. A leader is no good without followers. If you don't have nobody to follow you, you're just a leader in a lonely land. And that's why we come here tonight for power, to show the community, to show citizens we are together on what we're going to hear tonight from our council people. So with that being said, I want us all to stand for a moment and a word of prayer. Eternal God, we thank you for this moment, and we thank you for this gathering, and we thank you for those that will come tonight to make things plain and clear so that all of us will have an understanding. We thank you for our concerns, politicians who represent all of us, who are showing us tonight they do care, that it's not just a position that they hold, it's the people that they love too. I thank you for all races that are here tonight, because we must walk together. I pray that everything be said in decency and honor, and respecting your house and respecting the cause of why we're here. Lead us and guide us, that this will not just be the only time we will meet. We will continue to meet and empower our NPU and make it stronger so that it represents the voice of the community. I pray that you lead our council lady here tonight, as she comes before who has called this meeting, and that you will guide her as she continues to lead us in this area. We thank you for what we expect, and we pray for more to come for the development of our community. In Jesus' name, amen. You may take your seats. All right, now we will have the privilege of the Honorable Ms. Overstreet. She will come at this time. This will be the podium that she will speak from. There will be some mics out there for you to respond. I pray that you remember whatever you say, you're in God's house. I said you're in God's house. Amen. All right, so no fussing. Come on up. Our Honorable Mayor just come in. Will you give him a great big hand? See you later.
And I just really want to thank you again, Reverend Fleming, for having us here today. He's right. This is not political because we are in a church, and he does these type of things for the community all the time. And it's never about politics. It's about community. He hosts NPU meetings here, and pretty much anything that we ask him to do. He always says yes, and I thank him for that because that's what this type of community is about. That's what we need. We all need to work together, and that is what he does. So today I am here gathered with all of the leadership that matters, and that should tell everyone something about why we're here. We're here because Campbellton Road deserves the promised investment of $317 million. It's really that simple. Everyone wants to make it something else, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. And we're not going to let anyone tell us that it's anything other than that. We're not being messy. We're not being awful. We're not making up lies, but we are telling the truth, and we don't mind doing that. So I do want to call a little roll. Senator Ossoff has sent a representative here. That's Zenobia Hayes, the regional outreach coordinator, because he knows how important Campbellton Road is to equity here in Atlanta. We've got to change this wealth gap in Atlanta, and he knows that Campbellton Road is a good place to get started with that. Congresswoman Nakima Williams also sent a representative here, and that's Aaron Johnson. He is her state director, and he is here too. Thank you very much, to take the information back to Congresswoman Nakima. She actually lives in District 11, but right now she's in DC working. So thank you so much for coming. And Senator Ossoff is also in DC. They're working. We have our chairman, Rob Pitts. He's here, always listening for us. You know, of course, if you want the mic, all you have to do is say, yes, I do. Okay? But he is here because he is over 15 cities that lie in his jurisdiction, and he knows how important it is for us to get Campbellton Road right too. We have our Honorable Mayor Dickens. He's here because he has also So the Zoom, evidently the Zoom is hacked. So they're having trouble hearing what we're saying here today, but that's not going to stop the show. So if anyone wants to do a Facebook Live or get people on, that'll be good. Oh, good. Thank you. Reverend Fleming say we're live on his platform. So we'll be able to disseminate recorded copies of this anyway, and I definitely will. Again, we're back to our Honorable Mayor Dickens. I really appreciate him here, being here also, because at the end of the day, he was on this same ride with me, right next to, at the time, Councilwoman Keisha Lance Bottoms. She started on this journey of making sure that Campbellton Road received what it was supposed to receive. And he was our transportation chair, and I was his vice chair or co-chair for 4 years with the city of Atlanta. So we know what we were promised. We know what we're talking about. Both mayors are clear, and I'm clear as well. We're talking about a $317 million investment here. And so we have a host of council members. We have the president of City Council, Doug Shipman. He's gonna come up and say hello to us. You come stand here and say hello, Mr. President Shipman. And then we'll get back on the agenda. But first, I wanted to make sure that everyone knows exactly why we're here. Just give you a quick rundown of what we're going to do. We're going to listen to, okay, we're going to wipe the mic down. Okay. We're going to listen to Councilmember, Councilmember Boone, Councilmember Waits, and Councilmember Antonio Lewis, as well as Senator Fort. He's here. So we're going to listen to everyone, and then we're going to come back and listen to me again, because I have some more things to share with you that are extremely important. But right now, we'll just hear from my council president, just to say hello.
My dad was a Pentecostal preacher. I know we can do better than that. Good evening. Thank you. Reverend, thank you for having us. Mr. Mayor, good to see you. My name is Doug Shipman. I am the relatively new Atlanta City Council President. And I just want to say that last Friday, some of you know, it was Transit Equity Day. Councilmember Dozier, who is here, had sponsored a resolution, and many of us were taking transit around the city. It's also Rosa Parks' birthday last Friday. And those two things have been linked together since President Ford. We can't let Transit Equity Day be one day. We have to make Transit Equity Day every day. And the future of this city depends on the investments that we make in our transit. So I want to hear, and all of us want to hear from you tonight on what is needed, what is going to grow this community, what is going to drive it forward. Reverend, like you said, what happens on Campbellton Road is important to the future of this part of the city, but it's also important to the future of the entire city. So thank you very much for being here tonight and caring enough to make sure that we get this right. Thank you.
Thank you, President Shipman. And now we'll hear from our Honorable Mayor, Mayor Dickens.
Come on, let's give it up for our mayor. Let's give it up for our mayor. Come on, let's stand. You didn't have to be here tonight. Thank you.
Hey. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you, Reverend Fleming, and this entire church family here at Mount Carmel. Good to see each and every last one of you. President Shipman, Ms. Overstreet, and Boone, and Waits, and we got everybody here. We got Westmoreland and Dozier, my staff, my team, Antonio Lewis, all the council members, and of course, Fulton County Commissioner Chair Rob Pitts. And I'm looking around. There's always some dignitary in Atlanta, and of course, Vincent Fort. And she's looking down. I can't see. Oh, hey, how you doing, Senator? So it's a wonderful thing to and our school board chair, is that Ishay Mask? I can see you behind the mask. Okay, Ishay Collins is here from the school board. School board cares about what happens on Campbellton Road, of course. And we all care about what happens on Campbellton Road. So I like to state my positions clearly. That way we know where I stand. So when Marta came out, I was on the transportation committee. That was around 2015. And Theo, keep me honest on this date of this policy that I passed. When it came out, and you can see my resolution that said, we will not allow this to go to a vote unless you have equity geographically and demographically in the rollout of more Marta in the project list. It has to be equitable. So that means that if we're going to spend X number of dollars, a certain equitable percentage of it has to be spent around the city, because I knew that I didn't want, at the end of the day, for all the tax dollars collected to then just go to one project or two projects, and those projects are not geographically spread around. So I passed a policy to make sure that when this day came, we were prepared for this day to be able to say, no matter what you think, no matter what anybody thinks, equity has to be already in the plan. So that's why I'm not nervous about what's going to happen. We're going to get a full $300 million of investment in transit on this Campbellton Road corridor. I'm not nervous about that at all. I'm not nervous about it for about three good reasons. One is because I put it in policy, so it's in writing. It was voted on unanimously by the city council, and she's got it in her hand right there. She's got that. So it's unanimous that $300 million or so is going to be spent right on this corridor. So I got it in policy. Two, all of us are committed to that, because this is just a fraction of everybody that's concerned about this and going to really rally to make sure that it happens. So we're not going to stand idly by and let anything get missing. So it's two. And then three, I just so happen to get voted the mayor, and I got a whole lot to say about it. So those three things kind of solidify in my mind that we're gonna get our fair share. That means that to make sure it happens, like they say, what's the saying about but trust in the Lord, but watch your purse, right? Right. You still come to church, but put your purse real close to you. Don't just leave it out there and trust in the Lord, but lock your car door. So I got my three reasons why I believe strongly that we put it in writing, that y'all know how to fight, and I'm the mayor. Those three good enough for me, but we still got to carry out the process till the end zone is hit, right? So the other part about this is there's still an obligation amongst us to be clear about what we actually want. And this is going to be the first of the conversations that we have to have with ourselves as a community. We spend a lot of time telling people what we don't want and what we don't want to have happen to us. But I want us to be very clear about what we want so we can have marching orders in the right direction. For me, if we get BRT, bus rapid transit, which I'm hoping everybody's aware of what that means, that we probably might have to spend some time sharing the difference between BRT and LRT. If we get BRT down here, then BRT is a lot less and it can come a lot faster. You can get this bus rapid transit built out center lane, so it's not on the edges. It's going to be nice. It's just like a light rail in terms of how you would get on it, ingress, egress onto the bus. Wi-Fi and all that stuff will be a part of it. We saw it in LA. We've seen it in some other places. So it would be center line. It'll be nice. But that still leaves about $200 million that we got to know what we want to do with it. $200 million for streetscape, beautiful sidewalks and street furniture and lights and cameras and light synchronization, and even money for transit-oriented development, which is what we would call, mixed income housing or some sort of development around the transit stops. We have to then begin to say, well, what will we do with the rest of this money? Because we're going to spend time tonight. I know everybody's going to spend a lot of time tonight saying what they don't want. And that's fine. That's good. That's still going to leave us with room to discuss what we do want. I'm talking about us now. I know us. I know us. We're going to talk about what we don't want, but we got to talk about what we do want. Right? Am I making sense? We do have to talk about what we do want. Do you want, if you go with BRT, then you have other money left to be able to do other things that we then have to push to make sure that it's okay by the Federal Transit Authority, that it's okay by the Department of Transportation and the federal government. Marta is governed by those people, but this is our money. This is city sales taxes that you spend and I spend on various things. So we have to direct them of what we want to do with our money. The other thing about BRT is, if we go BRT down here on Campbellton Road, then what they're going to do on the Clifton corridor, if it goes LRT, I see a 20 years from now conversation about they got a train on the north and we got a bus on the south. I see that happening. I see that happening. I see that. I see the race in that. I see the color in that. I see the class in that. I see the fight in that. And I'll be 67 years old 20 years from now, and I'm going to be sitting with somebody and they're going to say, how you let a train go one way and a bus go the other way? Y'all see that too? I'm talking about us. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about us. So if we get this, we know the decision we made it together, and we made it for these reasons. We're going to get a bus rapid transit quickly. It'll go up fast. It'll be like this. It'll be like that. And then you got some sidewalks. You got lights. You got cameras. You got, transit-oriented development. You got $300 million, because I'm sure those three things I told you about earlier. I put it in policy. Y'all are bad, and I'm the mayor. But 20 years from now, if they got train up there and we got bus down here, we're going to have a fight. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. So if the other answer to that is spend $317 million on light rail, then you get the light rail transit. It's going to take a little longer, and you won't have the money left for transit-oriented development and some of the other things. Now, maybe between now and then we find more money because it's going to take a lot longer. But that's the end of that is what it is. You get the light rail, you got a train, and they'll have a train up there to be equitable and equal. It'll still be the $300 million. We'd have a train, and then maybe somewhere along the way we'd find more money for these transit-oriented development opportunities, for the lights, for the cameras, for the big sidewalks and the street furniture and all that other stuff. So that's where I stand. Is that kind of clear? And so then we have to talk about, what do we really want? Is it that we want a train? A light rail? Because I know we want something out here to get people to work to the central business district faster, because Campbellton Road is a highly used Marta route, but it's the longest ride. It takes you 40 minutes or so to get from Greenbrier to downtown by going to Oakland City Station and then getting on. It's a long ride, but if we get rapid transit of any kind, bus rapid transit, light rail, and by the way, I want to say this, and this ain't a campaign no more, because I'm in and we're all in, but the first portion of this was all about the Beltline. Mayor Bottoms and me were both on the transportation committee way back when, and we both said we need to make sure that we get transit down to Campbellton Road, down to Greenbrier. I said, okay, this was her district, and when I said, let's go, and I was the post 3 at large, I said, let's go, let's get it done. We legislated it in and said also this Beltline rail, this Beltline rapid transit also must go down to Southwest Atlanta. So this policy makes sense. So that was the first policy, that any move had to include the Southwest corridor. Then the next policy was that it had to be equitable when we start spending money. So I'm pretty clear about how policy manifests itself, a few years later, and what I think, we can see the benefit of. But now it's still us that got to make decisions on what we want. We got the groundwork for it, but now we got to make a decision. LRT versus BRT. BRT comes with this, gets done faster, but it also leaves you with some people not feeling that it's the same mode, that it's exactly the same, that it feels the same. And that's it. That's what I think. And then I'm going to pass it back to Marcy. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to answer questions. I want to hear from you. I've been at it all day, but I'm going to go at it all night because this is important. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Y'all take that all in, because we have a lot of decisions to make. Next, we'd like to hear from our past Senator Vincent Fort, who, by the way, lives right here off of Campbellton Road and has a lot to say.
Good evening. No, I'm like Doug Shipman. I just got here. You can't be mad at me. Good evening. Good evening. All right. First of all, let me thank the pastor for opening up the doors of the church to God's children. And I want to introduce a friend of mine, a close friend, who's been on the battlefield for a long time. Britt Dunham is the president of the Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 732. Stand up, Britt. Britt understands that labor cannot be successful unless it does what? Works with the community. So we appreciate that man right there. Let me just say this. You know, what I want to do, first of all, is tell you what this evening is not about. Because all on social media, there have been urbanists on social media talking about, well, do something about Campbellton Road sidewalks. Now, that's crazy. Why? Because when I fought like a dog to get sidewalks from Dodson to Ben Hill, wasn't nobody there to help me except Sherry Williams. Give Sherry Williams a round of applause. Raise your hand, Sherry. And we thank Councilmember Overstreet for working with us to get a mile of sidewalks so children don't have to walk on the road going from the apartments to the library. So we appreciate that. This is not about sidewalks at the end of the day. And this is not about politics, although there are a lot of politicians in the room. I've seen more politicians per square foot than I've ever seen in my life in this church tonight. And you know what? That's good, because they make decisions. But we want them to do what? Come back. We want them, let this not be a one-off. Come down here to Campbellton Road, a forgotten street in southwest Atlanta. But let me tell you this. You heard what I said, Pastor? It's the truth. Now, what this is about tonight is promises kept. Promises made and promises what? Kept. And it's a very serious issue. It has implications for a long time, because this part of town has been forgotten for a long time. And the politicians and the community have a lot to win or what? Lose. Because will we ever believe the politicians again if we don't get fairness and equity? I'm asking, will we ever be able to believe them again? No. I'm going to tell you some history that you need to know. You know how we got that Bankhead station? It wasn't because politicians wanted it, but the community wanted it. We beat the referendum for Marta the first time because it was not what? Fair and equitable. The second time around, we said we got to get more. What did we get? The Bankhead station. And when they were building it, Britt, you know this, they tried to break that promise. They said, y'all don't need no station now, 20 years later. But guess what? We said no. Promises what? Kept. And guess what? Now Microsoft loves that station. They say it's part of the reason they're moving to Atlanta, because they'll have what? A Marta rail station nearby. Promises kept. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but I want you to stay tuned tomorrow. Go on my Facebook page, because I'm going to tell the whole story about why we're here and who's making money and who isn't making money on this deal. I'm going to tell some of the truth tonight, but I'm going to tell all the truth tomorrow. For Atlanta. Make sure you get on it about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But the bottom line is this. Emory is getting a train. The Beltline is getting the train. And some folk on social media say, you take the BRT. And then I told them, I said, hold it now. Why don't we put a BRT on the Beltline? Why don't we put a BRT out to Emory? as opposed to taking it from a black community, working class black community. Let's be clear. If the truth matters, we have to say it. Emory is a large white institution. No, I ain't gonna be careful. I'm gonna tell the truth and shame the devil. Hello? Emory is a large white institution. And the Beltline don't go nowhere near Hamilton Road. I walk Hamilton Road. I walk them sidewalks I voted for, I fought for. I stayed 2 blocks around the corner. I love this neighborhood. And for people to come along, get us to vote for something, and then pull it back, bait and switch, that's a shame before God. And the bottom line is this. Mr. Mayor, you got to vote next year, don't you, in March, on a T-Splosh or something? Let me tell you this. If they lie to us on this, if they don't keep their promises on this, somebody's going to have to start a campaign to beat that penny tax in March. Listen to what I'm saying. You can applaud. That's all right. Why should we believe them in March when we can't believe them now? Taking money out of your pocket because you thought there was going to be light rail. I've ridden light rail, and I've ridden BRT. Fact of the matter is, light rail is what? Faster. It's faster. I've taken the bus from Oakland City down to Greenbrier. I've taken the bus from Oakland City down to my street and walked up 2 blocks. Stayed 2 blocks off of Hamilton Road. If you want to start with an investment, start with light rail. If you think you're going to get $200 million out of Marta to do economic development on Hamilton Road, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you. Hello, somebody. If you think you're going to get condos on Hamilton, I got something to tell you. So if we want to do investment, let's start with the LRT. Let's start with the light rail. I want to be able to walk down the 2 blocks, get on the rail, and then they say, well, how is the bus rapid transit going to connect with the Beltline? I want everybody to have light rail. But there's a scam going on. People are getting rich on this behind your backs. And I'm not being paranoid. I can back up every word I said. If I have time later, more time later, I'll get up on this microphone and tell it. But like I said, 3 o'clock on Facebook, we're going to have a good time. So I say no to BRT, and I say yes to what? LRT. I say no BRT, you say no, we want what? LRT. I say no BRT, you say? LRT. I say no BRT, you say? LRT. One more time, I want them to hear you downtown. No BRT, we want? LRT. And the last thing I'm going to say, Pastor, because I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to be obedient tonight. And this is something you all need to know. I have never seen Marta act like this. I've never seen them disrespect a council member like this. I've never seen it. It's out of character for them to be so vicious, to issue statements attacking a council member. Shame on them. But see, when you mess with people money, hello somebody, they'll run over their grandmama. They'll run over Marciova Street, Andrea Boone, Antonio Luce. You new here, so they definitely gonna run over you. Get out the way. So we have got to surround these folk who are fighting for us. We got to surround them and make sure no harm, political or otherwise, comes to them. Because you got to be ready to fight. Are you ready to fight? No, come on, that's weak. Are you ready to fight? I still didn't hear you. Stand up and say it. Are you ready to fight?
Thank you, Senator Ford. Okay, so next we're going to have our freshman council member, Antonio Lewis. He doesn't act like a freshman.
I really do feel like the freshman, even though I got to let it up a little bit, right? I'm the tallest freshman, but I might be the only one using notes tonight, too. My folks wanted to make sure that we don't miss any points. This is a very, very, very important thing we got going on. I ran my campaign on social mobility. I know that once Cleveland Avenue, Calmerton Road, and Cascade get what everybody in Buckhead got, the city gonna work a little bit better. So I first want to say, my name is Antonio, and I represent the part of Atlanta that the ones in power in Atlanta never wanted to see get power because I just might give it to the people. My name is Antonio, and I represent the part of Atlanta that the ones in power in Atlanta never wanted to see get power because I just may empower the people. So I'm about to give y'all some information today. What the hell going on downtown? Here it goes, y'all. They moving money. Money that was promised to us, they're moving it to a different part of the city because they can. Only thing that stopped them is, hello, my name is Antonio. I represent the part of the city of Atlanta that the ones in power in Atlanta never wanted to see get power because they forgot they're dealing with the most literate black society in the history of the planet. We the most literate because we can all read, and you can't hide it in the book no more. We see it. We see it. So I'm going to give y'all the details of what Marta's working on and what was promised, right? Because we want to stick to the facts. This is when they tell me to make sure I read my notes. What is it? Senate Bill 369 authorized the city of Atlanta to do a half-cent tax for Marta. So we taxed our folks and we gave Marta something. We gave this a gift. I want y'all to know we gave them something, right? This is what we asked them to do. All this came from their website when they explained what we gave them. Because we're going to keep saying we gave them something. And it never would have happened without our esteemed mayor. I'm so honored to call him mayor. Without our mayor, without the folks from the south side saying we want some equity, we want some social mobility, because I was DMing him. I was smart. I was DMing our mayor telling him we want some social mobility. Quit forgetting about us. That's what I was telling them. So they signed this contract, and this got signed in 2016. They started collecting it in 2017. So it's about 5 years ago. Y'all want to know when this expires? 2057. We're giving them money for 50 years, man. You got to know they're getting this for 50 years. This ain't just a 5-year thing. 2057. Want me to tell you how much money they thought they would get on that deal, the whole 50 years? They thought they would get between $2.5 billion and $3.5 billion. I heard they got more than $2 billion already. But I'm a council person. Why am I talking about what I heard? Why I don't know? How am I going to give you the information if I don't know? We even asking them what's going on. So I'm trying to see why I don't know. So I then researched it. I got to go to Georgia State University Fiscal Research Team and the Georgia Department of Revenue to get an explanation of what projects whenever they change it. I want to make sure Marta went through that process whenever they changed the process from what they originally said. Marta then provided projects to the city of Atlanta. Because before we gave them this money, we asked them what they gonna do with it. We asked them plain, we want you to black and white. This is black and white. So when they called me a liar today, my grandma ain't raised no liar. When they called Councilmember Overstreet a liar today, I don't think she was lying when she told me what was going on. In black and white, we asked them, because I know Mayor Dickens told them, I want to see what you're going to do with this money. That's why I just put that together. You said, what you going to do with the money? So we gave them a few months to come up with what they want to do with the money. But we gave all deadlines. I want to talk through deadlines, right? So May 31st, 2016, we vetted something that they gave us May 16th. So we vetted it for about 15 days, right? We asked them for their final list by June 20th of everything they said they're going to do, everything. We didn't want to leave anything up for chance, right? And then by July 31st, they gave us the list. Do y'all know what the number one project was on that list? The first project? Calmerton Road LRT 5 miles. $317 million. That's what it said. That's what it said. So what we talking about, what we said, right? Let me keep going through because they want me to read from the notes. I'm from Cleveland Avenue, so I believe in your face card. I like going to the barbershop. My face card got to be clean to go into the barbershop. I enjoy going there, right? I believe that we made a deal in good faith with Marta. I think they either forgot what they said or they outright lied to us. Then they called me a liar. Imagine that. What kind of Trump stuff is this? My campaign was ran on social mobility and good policy to fix social mobility, to fix the issues that we have. I ran on social mobility because I understand that we live in a city where policy can actually fix it. I seen them do it in my life. I'm standing in front of y'all as a kid with no mother. My mom was murdered when I was 3, shot over 20 times in this city. So we have dealt with this violence before in this city. I understood what policy did. Policy is the reason I'm here. We got the same mentor because she made sure I got what I wanted. So when we say, well, we gave Marta money because they told us they was going to do some policy. We believed them. We believed you. Why are you playing with us? Elected officials must hold bureaucrats accountable. This is a public-private partnership. That's what this is. I'm an elected official. I got to hold them accountable. We need Marta to show good faith and be a good faith actor in this partnership. We need Marta to remember this is a partnership and that we've given them exclusive rights to build in this city. We've given them all the latitude. When we say Marta's never act like this, I work for Marta. I used to work for Marta. When the Breeze car came through, I was one of the people. I worked for Marta. Marta ain't never treated Atlanta like this. Or maybe I don't remember it. So we need you to remember that we can create new partnerships. So I'm new to the council, but not new to living. I don't do business with people I can't trust. Right now, Marta, we need you to fix this relationship. Once again, I want to say thank you. My name is Antonio Lewis, councilman from Cleveland Avenue. Once Cleveland Avenue, Calmerton Road, and Cascade look like Buckhead, Atlanta gonna work. Watch it.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewis. And now we have another council member. She's at large, and she is Keisha Waits. Councilmember Keisha Waits.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for coming out tonight. I am also a freshman on the Atlanta City Council. I want to recognize my colleague, Councilmember Michael Julian Bond. I think you're in the room somewhere. Thank you for coming, sir. Thank you to our host, Reverend Fleming, this evening, Mr. Mayor. So I'm here to join my colleagues to express my support surrounding the conversation of equity. And I think my other colleague has so eloquently already articulated that. But for the most part, I love the idea of addressing the issue of the penny sales tax. I think that the best way to get our colleagues and friends' attention is through money. And ultimately, that's what this conversation is here about this evening, is money. I believe that economic development is driven by transportation. And I think each of you in the room understand that, which is why you're here tonight. And so I just simply want here to voice my support for Councilmember Overstreet, Lewis and Boone as the at-large member. And again, I thank you for your support representing Post 3. I'm very eager to hear from each of you tonight. Oftentimes, I sit in rooms where we very rarely get to hear from those who supported us and voted us in. So again, I thank you each for being here, and I thank you for the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Waits. This next council member needs absolutely no introduction at all. It's Councilmember Boone. I'll be back after her to say a few words, and then we're going to hear from you.
Thank you, Councilmember Overstreet. Thank you so much. I will be brief because we are here to hear from you. We are here to hear from you. So I want to thank my courageous colleagues. Stand up. They need courage. They have courage. Thank you to the great Reverend Timothy Fleming and to the greatest Andre Dickens from Adamsville, Atlanta, Georgia. He could have been anywhere. He could have been anywhere tonight. And guess what? He's here. He's here. To Rob Pitts, stand up. You've been on the line a long time, fighting with my father, the late Reverend Joseph E. Boone. We can never forget you and his chief of staff, the beautiful Harriet Thomas, for answering the calls. Harriet, stand up. You always behind the scenes. Harriet, you answer the calls. So thank you so much. To our other colleagues, the Honorable Doug Shipman, the Honorable Michael Julian Bond, the Honorable Jason Dozier from District 4, my Uncle Charles Steele. Everybody's here. Georgia, stand up. Stand up, Deborah. Thank you for being here. Did we miss anybody? Senator Horaceena Tate, whose father was the first black man to run for mayor in Atlanta. Stand up, Horaceena. And her mother, Virginia Tate. Stand up. Attorney Griggs. Oh, Attorney Griggs? Gerald Griggs. And I just want to recognize these people because without them, there will be no us. See, without them, Aaron Turpo, who taught me how to run campaigns with C.T. Martin. We have lost one yet. Fanny Cumberlander, and I could just go on, but without you all, there will be no us. Right. Senator Ford, Derek Bozeman on the phone late at night. Marcy been burning his phones up. Marcy Collier Overstreet has been burning the phones up. But I just want to say thank you, Reverend Fleming. Thank you for everything. You've been on this court a long time, fighting. Thank you, Mount Carmel, because without Mount Carmel, there would be no us. So we want to hear from you now. We're here to hear from you. Again, we can be reached at 404-330-6055 and 404-330-6054. Antonio, what's yours? 330. Keisha, what's yours? 6053. Call us and we'll be here. But now we want to hear from the people of Atlanta, Georgia.
Take the instructions from Overstreet as to how you're going to be social distance as you come, these two mics on the left and to the right. And when you say you have enough, that's when we'll stop. Will you cut our mic back up, please?
So I ask that we only have 2 people at the mic at a time so we don't have long lines. And we will acknowledge as many as we can tonight because we really do want to hear from you. But before we start, I did want to leave you all with a few facts. And you'll find these facts also in the packets that we made for you all. I want you to pay very close attention to a page that looks like this, because this is what we've been speaking of. See, what we're talking about, you guys, it's not hearsay. We're talking about facts. You know, when they say believe none of what you hear and half of what you see, it's a real thing. Because there's a video out with me talking about how much I love BRT, and guess what? We were in LA. I loved BRT. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. But what I didn't say, not once, was that I did not want the full $317 million of investment on Campbellton Road. As a matter of fact, I made it clear over and over and over and over again that if BRT, then what? Just like the mayor just told you. And then if LRT, then what? I even said, it's not about me. It's about everyone. So we have to ask everyone. We have to do surveys. That's where the surveys came from. They came from me asking Marta to ask the people, because I didn't want it to be about me and that great ride that I had in LA. But I told them that all 317 million had to stay on Campbellton Road or it wasn't gonna work out. And I was clear. 2 weeks ago when I saw that presentation, and I only saw $120 million worth of investment in the form of a BRT that they call gold standard, I knew right then I no longer like BRT, not for Campbellton Road. If that's the best you can do for us, we can't have BRT, because we deserve better than the gold standard. Amen. We deserve better than the gold standard. Now I'm told, I read this press conference today, and it says that I said they were stealing. I not one time said that anybody stole anything. What I said was, they promised $317 million. I saw a presentation for $120 million. That to me is a missing $200 million. Now, I don't know who said stealing, but I didn't. I didn't. But what I did do, again, is I put it in writing. I legislated it. I said, council members, please join me, because what we need now is accountability. We need an audit. We need to know what the hell is going on. We need to know, where is the $200 million to go with this $120 million that we talked about for 4 full years? Now, I don't claim to know everything, but I know a lot, and I definitely don't get money confused. $200 million was not on that presentation. So I asked my council members to join me to figure out what is where. And please join me in making sure that Marta is going to deliver on that promise. And not only have my council members join me, but all of the regional elected officials have too, and so have you. And I want to thank y'all for that. And I'm telling you, I'm not backing down. I don't care what other names they can come up for me, because I know me well. I'm not a liar. I'm an honest broker. I have a great memory. And I definitely am a South Side girl. The South's got something to say. The money stays on Campbellton Road. It's that simple. Now we're ready to accept questions, and we'll start here and then we'll go back and forth. Oh, you guys, I did ask for only 2 in the line at a time, because, you know, it's COVID still.
Back from each other.
And we want everybody to feel comfortable about being here. And these questions can go to all of us. But please, introduce yourself first. Let us know who you are.
Can I ask you all to keep your mask on?
Yeah, and
So,
keep your, you know what, he gave me a
Mask
briefing.
down so often, just keep your mask on.
Yes,
Right,
keep
yes.
your mask on while speaking on the mic. Like, you guys can hear me, right? Yeah, let's keep our masks on.
Well, first of all, I would like to extend my profound gratitude to the head of this house, Reverend Fleming. Thank you so much for opening up the doors to the people. Also to Mayor Dickens, thank you so much for your time and your presence and your energy and your commitment in answering the call. And also to the host of council members here, thank you all so much for your service and going beyond the call of duty to give our people what we know we deserve. My name is Jeremy Crane. I'm the youngest of Benny Crane Sr., who is the pioneering visionary behind the beautiful city of South Fulton. I was born and raised right here in the South Side, shouted, you know what I'm talking about? And I just, don't let this smooth taste fool you. It is after 6 o'clock, so I feel like I can get a little loose with my language. However, I am I'm keeping it clean. I'm a lifetime educator, and my interest is in how in the world can we allocate some of this $317 million in our curriculum for our kids to be able to benefit from these funds, because we can inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs in their STEAM curricula. They can learn the technology. Is there a way that we can carve out some space for our kids to be able to benefit from this money in the schools to learn and to be able to contribute to this movement for the next 50 years? Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. To be honest with you, I don't know. We need to check in on that. But I want to ask something by a show of hands. How many of y'all would prefer an LRT? Raise your hand. How many of you want an LRT? Okay, those people who want an LRT, stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Tell
Okay.
someone what it is, D.
All right, light rail. They know what it is. Okay. All right, take some pictures of this. This is real. This is real. You politicians, sit down. Okay. Okay, sit down, sit down. How many want a BRT? Don't be afraid. We will not gonna run you out. How many want a BRT? Raise your hand. Stand up if you want the BRT. If you want a bus. No, they ain't scared. Ain't nobody in here want it.
Nobody want it.
Let me tell you this. Learn something about democracy. The majority what? Rules.
Well, thank you. We're going to go over here now. 2 minutes, please state your name.
Land back, my name is Ghazi. I'm the Commander-in-Chief of the Black Hammer Party. And the Black Hammer Party is an international revolutionary party that has the largest street ministry in Atlanta every Sunday at noon. Hand clap for those that have been there. All right, all right. Yeah, it's pretty big, you know. That's what she does. She does great things. So every Sunday we give food, we give clothes, and we give housing to our homeless people at Woodruff Park at noon. So shameless plug, you got some clothes to give away? I need to see you Sunday at noon at Woodruff Park. Our people need it. It's cold out there. Any which way, not only am I the Commander-in-Chief of the Black Hammer Party, I'm also an AT alien, okay? And so, you know, I have a long relationship with Miss Marta. You know, the first time I was on Miss Marta, I was 4 years old, and I was really excited because I was on the train, you know, it was moving fast, and I was like, this is great. Oh my gosh, I love Marta, I love the train. But the longer you have a relationship with something, the realer it gets. Ain't that right? I guess there's no married folk in the building. But the longer you have a relationship with something, the more it exposes to you the truth about something. So then I turned 15 and I got my first job at Kroger, okay, on Rainbow Drive, where I had to ride this train and this bus to go 15 minutes that would have took me a car ride, takes me up to close to 2 hours. And because of that, I was late and got so many strikes from my job at Kroger, and I was so proud of that job at 15. And every job since, because Marta kept getting me fired, I wasn't able to save enough to get a car. And then I got even a closer relationship with Marta when it's okay because he's going to give me his 2 minutes, so I got 3. I try to put this together real short in 2 minutes, been practicing, but 3 and 50 seconds is how it's going to go. So any which way, back to the story. I got a really close relationship with Marta because at 18, my mama kicked me out for being, And so I had to sleep on the train. I had to sleep on the train station. And that's when I got accosted and abused by pigs that pushed me and kicked me off the train station, telling a teenager that he has to decide between freezing, no, he's giving me his 2 minutes, between freezing and being locked up.
We have a lot of people in consideration of everyone we have.
So I find it really comical that y'all want to act like you're not responsible for this, and we need to talk about $200 million that was stolen from the people, poor working class black and brown people. And that's why I know the solution ain't no BLT or TLC. It's revolution. And I will replace those in power by force and make sure that the poor working class black and brown people have dictatorship over their land, lives, labor, and leadership. Touch one! Touch one! Touch one!
Solid business. And that's how passionate folks are on the southwest side about making sure that every single dollar is spent over here. Every single dollar will be spent over here. All right, so we got Miss Deborah Scott, Miss Scott, coming up next.
So what I would say, this is really a shame that we're here, because we really should be here talking about what the train is going to look like and where the stops are. Reverend Fleming, we were in the community room years ago talking about the interchange that you've been trying to have fixed almost 10 years ago, and you still haven't gotten that, I know. When the survey went out in 2016, Georgia Stand Up got involved because only 60 people had answered the survey. And so we started going door to door. We started going to the MARTA stations and asking people what they wanted. And what they said they wanted was light rail. So we helped to get this passed. And what you said you wanted was light rail. That was what you said you wanted. So I see we're in this wonderful church, and right above us says, I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. All things. And so there's two kinds of power. There's organized people and there's organized money. And I submit in this room you have both. So if you want light rail, demand light rail. Make them give you what you want. Make them give you what you earned. Make them give you what you voted for. This is not just America. This is Southwest Atlanta. You are in the middle of the epicenter of the universe right now. Georgia is in the middle. Atlanta is in the middle. In the middle of that is Southwest Atlanta. You control the politics here. Fix it. Somebody messed up along the way. Fix it. That's the message today. Fix it. We want light rail. Fix it. We want light rail. Fix it. Fix it. We want light rail. Fix it. So we're going to give them time to fix it, Mr. Mayor, right? Because they're going to fix it. So if they say it's going to take 10 years to make it happen, just settle for this. We've been waiting all this long. Give us what we want. Give us what we voted for. Remember, there's another election just around the corner and another one right after that. The people of Atlanta elected presidents, elected senators, and we will take you in, put you in, and take you out.
Thank you.
So the people of Atlanta have said they want what? Light rail. Light rail. Light rail. Be clear. Don't get confused. BRT is great some places, but on Campbellton Road, you said you wanted a train. You didn't say you wanted a bus, you wanted a train. So demand that, stick with it, negotiate. Negotiate. You're a great negotiator because you build circles. So I know you're going to bring some circles around in here. So we're circling around this whole southwest quarter, and we want the sidewalks. We don't want the gas station. We don't want the liquor store, and we want the train. Thank you so much.
Yes, my name is Reverend Darrell. I'm the president of Reformed Black Think Tank of America here in Atlanta. Just want to say to Dr. Fleming, sir, may God bless you. Also the mayor. I've been in the city of Atlanta for almost 30 years. And I noticed, and I've been in this city, I've been on Camilton Road for 20-something years. And I've been saying this for a long, it's been bothering me for a long time, that for Camilton Road to be the way it is, it should not be the way it is. We as taxpayers, ask yourself the question, who is paying the bulk of the taxes? I can go to Emory, I go to Morehouse, they got all the resources at Emory, and they got less resource at Morehouse College. That is something wrong with that picture.
Right.
My thing in that is this. When you pay taxes, we pay the bulk of the taxes. And yet, Mr. Mayor, and I said this on WAOK, this road shouldn't be like this. Our community should not be the way it is. 25 years, and it still have not changed. I can leave Southwest Atlanta, me and my wife, sometimes we go up north, the roads are clear, you can smell the clean air, the beautiful trees, but when you come here on the southwest side of Atlanta, it looks like Chirac. So something has to be done about it. And as I said before,
thank you.
We should have this light rail. We pay the taxes, then we should demand that we get what we ask for. And that's all I have to say, but it disturbs me that it's amazing how they can take our taxpayers' money, take it up north. Come on now, let's keep it real now. But look at Greenbrier.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got to see it. That's all I had to say.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to say, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life, and the pastor of this church, who is my pastor, Reverend Timothy Fleming. I remember when I came home after serving 13 years in prison, the halfway house told me, said, listen, you got 2 weeks to find a job. If you don't find a job in 2 weeks, you're going back to prison. Because of Reverend Fleming and this church and this community, Reverend Fleming called the halfway house and said, send him over here. I'll give him a job. And when I think about what's going on right now, and I want to say to the mayor, man, I love you, man. And I just look forward to the things that you bring to this city, and a lot of the young people who I help, they respect you, and they're looking forward to change in this city. I just simply want to say, there's got to be somebody that we got to point fingers at. We can't, it's like we're talking, we don't know who we're talking about. I'm just being honest. It's like I remember when I was in the streets, if I got robbed, I know who robbed me most of the time. So we need to know who robbed us. It reminds me, and it's freaking me out because we're in Black History Month. And it reminds me when we go back into the history, not only of this city, but of this country. It also reminds me of the speech that Dr. Martin Luther King said in 1964. He said at that time that America had written the black folks a bad check. And that check had come back marked insufficient funds.
There you go. There you go.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a fighter. So we're going to cash in that check because it came back and it bounced. So we want to cash in that check on behalf of the people of Southwest Atlanta.
There you go. Say no more.
Because I voted. I don't care if it's but a penny. That's my penny. That's my penny of every dollar. And I want my money to go to this community who helped me when I came back home and nobody would help me.
Thank you. Let's wrap it up. Thank you.
God bless y'all.
Appreciate it.
While we have a second, I just want to thank Commissioner Natalie Hall for coming also. Want to make sure everyone knows who's here and participating.
My name is Larry Riley. I was born here in Atlanta, 80s baby, Crawford Long Hospital. My parents used to tell me about the stories about, back in the day, how Camden Road used to be popping. They used to have car lots, clubs, shopping, everything, But my question is this: whether we get, I'm all for LRT. Either we get BRT or LRT. We know we got this high poverty, high African American unemployment and underemployment. Is there a training program or a pipeline, no matter which one we get, are we gonna have our young African Americans working on that, building that? Because I don't wanna see driving down the street, seeing a bunch of non-African Americans working on these rails and these buses and everything. Is there anything that can make sure African Americans are the majority of the workers that get up on there and working on this stuff?
Thank you for that question. Thank you.
It's right here.
Hi, my name is Sherry Williams. And thank you. And I want to thank everybody who's here today, but I want to thank Reverend Fleming for, again, opening up your church in the SWAT. We appreciate it. I want to thank our Mayor Dickens for having the courage to stand on the U.S. Capitol steps shortly after being elected, talking about the great things happening in Southwest Atlanta. And one of them is the light rail on Hamilton Road. I want to thank Deborah Scott, who hired me in 2017. And the project was to make sure that the Marta project on Hamilton Road got funded fully. And we got it funded fully. But guess what? You can't go to sleep. Jesus told them, can't you stay awake? He left and came back, they were asleep again. We are not asleep. We are woke. So I want to make it perfectly clear, that BRT trip that Councilwoman Overstreet went on, that Councilman Dickens went on, that Councilman Michael Julian Bond was on, oh yeah, I was there too. It was a good trip. So we know the difference between light rail, LRT, and bus rapid transit, BRT. So let me ask you a question. Would you take your life savings and put your business across the street from a rail station, or are you gonna put it across the street from the bus stop? We know that periodically, bus stops do what? Move. So one of the things about BRT is that it's flexible. They can move it. But guess what? In our community, they keep doing what? Moving everything. So when someone buys a house, get a job near the bus stop, then they move the bus stop. I mean, what are we talking? Only 3 people riding the bus over there. Well, maybe those 3 people are the ones that need that to get to work. So we need to figure that out. I want to tell everybody on the planet that the number 83 Hamilton Road bus has the 2nd highest ridership in the entire MARTA system. Not just in Atlanta MARTA buses, it's across all 3 counties, Clayton, Fulton, and DeKalb, and the city of Atlanta. Pre-COVID, almost 5,000 people, including myself, rode that bus. So if we have the 2nd highest ridership, oh, and did I tell you that 70 to 80% of the people that ride the number 83 don't have access to a car? And that's 5,000 a week. 5,000 a week. So we have earned. Say what? We have earned the right to ask for and receive with our tax dollars light rail transit.
Thank you.
LRT.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to say one last thing. They says it takes 7 to 10 years to build light rail. Remember when the I-85 bridge burned? It was supposed to take how many months? They did it in record time because it was a priority for who? The north side. So they brought people in from all over the country to help put that bridge back together. So when you have a priority, you bring everybody. But then when we have a priority, you're going to try to bait and switch. We are woke. We are ready. We are standing on the shoulders of Angela, Martin, Maynard, Rosa, Fannie Lou. I want you to know that we are woke and we are not going anywhere. If you want to start World War III on Campbellton Road, bring it on.
Thank you. Thank you. Please state your name, sir.
I'm Dr. J. Lawrence Miller. I'm the president of Adair Park in southwest Atlanta. I'm a Beltline neighborhood. I want to bring that up because sometimes they try to make the argument as Campbellton Road shouldn't have LRT because it might take away from the Beltline neighborhoods. I'm a Beltline neighborhood, and it won't take anything away from us. Be very clear about that. It takes nothing away from the Beltline neighborhoods. Mr. Mayor, you said you wanted to hear what the people want. Perhaps it's time to reevaluate the intergovernmental agreement between Marta and the city. Perhaps it's time to readdress who's on the Marta board, who don't support the people here in Southwest Atlanta. It's time to really look at exactly what's going on and making sure that everybody here knows what I'm talking about, because it's an important part of this governmental piece where you'll get blamed and our city council members get blamed for something that Marta's doing. That means it's time to start looking at that agreement again. This has nothing to do with Beltline rail. This has to do with light rail here. Because when it comes here, you'll see an economic development like you've never seen before. Are you worried about people being displaced? That may happen, but you know what the Beltline did? If you were older and you were a legacy resident, there's a tax abatement program or tax assistance program for you. The city can do the same thing. Marta can do the same thing. So that the development that comes along with rail far outreaches any type of development that'll come along with bus. So I want you to know the Beltline neighborhoods stand with Campbellton Road. This is important. Mr. Mayor, that's your answer. They want it, let's make it happen.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mona Muhammad. I'm 26 years old, and I'm a small business owner inside of Greenbrier Mall. And for 26, my biggest goal is my community. And if it wasn't for my community, I wouldn't be who I am today. And a few things would be, of course, beautifying, educating, empowering, providing resources and opportunities. And I feel like this train would bring a lot of resources and opportunities to the community, as well as adding value to the community. And Route 83, at this little research that I did before I came, it has 4,000 people daily or weekly from what I've heard, and transportation justice is the equal access of all people to the transportation they need for a better quality of life. And all of these people that are using the bus system is to get them to work, to give them the job opportunities that we really don't have within the community. I grew up here in this community, and I've heard so many stories about the old Campbellton that I don't know of. I know this Campbellton essentially because it's a dead Campbellton Road, Greenbrier Mall. Since I've been in the mall for 3 years, I've heard so many stories that I never believed. So many things such as the movie theater downstairs, restaurants in there, so much history that I would not have known if, I know that. So much history that I would not have known if I wasn't a tenant inside of the mall, and it's the senior citizens coming in there thanking me for bringing something of quality to the community. And I feel like this train will bring quality to those that are using it. And this community needs luxury. I opened my business because we do not have the luxury of a lot of things within our community. We spend a lot of our money yonder. And I don't know why. When this area is what essentially built Atlanta, growing up, my dad would tell me, oh, the mayor lives there, the mayor does this. And seeing the mayors now, They all grew up in the community. I feel like I can become anything because of where I was raised, of what I've seen, the people that are around me. I feel like I could do anything, and that's because of this community. Essentially, I would love for the community to keep growing in value while it's still in our hands before it's gentrified. My minor was economics in college, and I see that economically, this is the area that is next to grow, and I'd rather grow in our hands. I'd rather us continue to gain value. We spend the most dollars, and I don't know if this was true, on the internet. It said that we spend the most dollars, but we don't have net value. Our community will give us value. So
Thank you.
Marta's leaving. Now listen, I want you all to know this. Lisa Borders, when she was in council, when Shirley Franklin and John Lewis and even Jesse Hill and David Scott met in my office. Are you aware that this is the last piece of green space in Southwest Atlanta? Campbellton Road? The last Cascade and all is maxed out. This is the last piece of green space in Southwest Atlanta. Don't forget that. Okay. Thank you.
To the right. Thank you, Reverend.
My name is Scotty Smart. I'm an activist and organizer, and I'm a son of Campbellton Road. I went to Continental College Elementary School. I went to Bunch Middle School. I grew up at Adams Park every Saturday. And as we see Atlanta develop, I can drive down Campbellton Road, and it looks exactly the same it did 20 years ago. Everywhere else in Atlanta, you see sky rises and opportunities, but they're taking that away from our community. And I work now as a community activist in community development and criminal justice reform. And a lot of time, and I work over at Georgia Vocational Solutions on Ben Hill Road because I want to empower this community. So what we do is we take people who are convicted felons and get them better job opportunities by certifying them in forklift licenses and things like that. But the most common question I get from them is, do y'all have a transportation for us to get there? You have people who are trying to do better with themselves, but don't have an opportunity to take advantage of because they don't have the opportunities presented to them. So I want to say thank you to all of the politicians in here for really standing up for this community and making sure that this community is heard, because we're so often overlooked that I've made it my life's work to develop Campbellton Road. And so when I look at this, there's a couple questions I have because it was one of my first times hearing about it. But first off, it says only 938 people in the neighborhood were surveyed. That's definitely not enough people. So yeah, that was the first thing I saw in here. And the second question I had was about the routes. I'm still, like I said, listening and trying to understand what's the best outcome for the community, which most do feel like it's light rail. And I remember Andre saying that, excuse me, the mayor, sorry. Excuse me, sir, still getting used to that one. But on the transit bus line, earlier he stated that it takes 40 minutes to get from Greenbrier to Oakland City. It doesn't say what it would do in the development stage or how that would change that time frame. And it does say that the 6-mile route would be 16 minutes on the light rail. So if you have cut a third of the time in half to get to a certain position, then that automatically will allow you to get to work a lot faster. So I'm just still looking at the dynamics of how it weighs out, but we do new community development in this city and right here on Campbellton Road because it hasn't changed in at least 20 years.
Thank you.
And Scotty, thank you for promoting this event today like you did. We saw what the numbers did when you put out that post. Thank you.
Ms. Latifo, please go. Go with the question.
Okay. Hi, my name is Edith Latifo, and I live at 2232 Belvedere Avenue, where I have lived for the last 40 years. I came here to Atlanta with my former husband to take over Deerfield Apartments. He is now deceased and in his paradise. I contacted the United States government last week, the U.S. Department of Transportation, to get a better understanding of the laws, the rules, and regulations that we are going to be governed by. There is also research that has been done by Harvard University, which I think every black person should look at. And it talks about moving towards equity. It gives you all the rules, the regulations, the laws, and how projects are supposed to be reviewed and approved by the federal government. This is an eye-opener, because I remember many times in Atlanta, as president and chair of the MPU, we worked hard to get money to Southwest Atlanta. And oftentimes it didn't come. The money that we had for the T-Splosh went somewhere else. The money that we had for the tax funds that was supposed to go to, that was taken from the businesses that was supposed to go for the improvement of Campbellton Road, it went to the Beltline. You can, historically, since 1975, you can see that we have been neglected. We have not gotten the opportunities that we should have gotten. And oftentimes, doesn't have anything to do with Marta. It has something to do with all the people sitting around here. We have to change. We have to be better about managing our money and getting money into our community. I'm concerned because it's all about the devil in the details. We need to know what is going on with Marta. We need to know what's going on with Emory University. How are they getting money? How are they doing what they're doing? And is this another period of time when we are going to be left out?
Thank you.
And so I'm saying that I would like to see us work together, not just the politicians, because we have a rule with the city of Atlanta that says the citizens are supposed to be involved. Yeah. We have not been involved. We don't even really know what's going on. And we need to be at the table.
Let me speak to one element, 60 seconds, one element of what you said. You asked about Emory. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you a little preview of my Facebook post tomorrow, okay? How long has Emory been in the city? 3 years, 4 years? If you look at the list, oh, yes, they are. $350 million for LRT at Emory. Let me tell you how the deal got done. 60 seconds. The Reed administration told Emory, we will let you in the city if you help us to close down the Petrie Pine homeless shelter. Tell the truth, shame the devil now. You said it was the thing to do. So the Reed administration and his COO, Dan Gordon, who was a graduate of Emory, worked with Emory to get inside the city limits. They only been in this, how long Campbellton Road been in the city limits?
Forever.
200 years?
Since the Native Americans.
They've been in, and they're getting $350 million. And guess who owns Petrie Pine right now? Emory bought it for $6.2 million.
Pennies on the dollar.
Well, my grandmama used to say, something rotten in the cotton.
Let me just say this, let me say this one thing. I'm really impressed with what is going on here because it's time for all of us to come together. Yes. We don't have any enemies, no permanent enemies, no permanent friends. That's what politics is all about. But we've got to come together and save our community. Amen. But the one thing that I want everybody to remember when you're dealing with this, you have the laws that protect you. Environmental justice, Clean Water Act, Clean Air Act, Brownfield. You have the laws, the Civil Rights Law of 1964 revised. You have all of these rules that protect you. If you do not get what you want, this justice that we're talking about, we've got to take them to court. There is no question. We have to stop talking and start doing what we need to do, and that's getting into the courts.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Latifo. We definitely have legislation to back up everything that we're saying, and you're right, because we can't believe what we see and hear. That's what contracts are for. That's what contracts and legislation are for, and we're ready. Just know that we're ready. I would like, because I know everybody has to leave, and we're going to get to the questions, but a little housekeeping. I want to make sure everyone knows what our call to action is, at least one good thing, and that's to contact Marta. I want you all to take this, I'm going to pass this paper around, take a picture of it with your friends, with your phone, because I only have a few of them. It's not in the packet that you have out. So want to make sure everyone knows how to get your viewpoint across to Marta, so that I'm not going to be the only one they call a liar around here. Okay? Yes, I can post it on social media. I can do that. But we'll just start passing these around. Okay, so we're going to still stay to 2 minutes each, and because we have a hard stop when this clock says 8 o'clock and it's 7:28. Okay? And I think we're over here.
Hello, my name is Ben Martin. I live in Oakland City. I want to say I moved to Atlanta for a job. Proudly served as a city employee. Had the opportunity for working for two different administrations in the mayor's office. Not going to take 2 minutes. I just want to. I moved here. Didn't have any family here in Oakland City. We have many families. A lot of seniors there that welcomed me, made me feel like I was a part of the community. BRT, LRT, there can be housing that's built, but what we need to understand is that LRT, that housing is a little more planned. It's not as spread out as it would have to be, right? So we're not running into pushing out people that made this corridor, made this area viable, and having people interested in it. If we, sort of like the Field of Dreams thing, if we build the LRT, it's going to come. This is a family-oriented community, right? So I just want to, the question I'm asking, I guess, is what's our plan to keep people that have kept this community and area viable? What's our plan to keep them here? I don't want to see us doing similar or the same things that we did when we built the stadium, right? Pushing people out, moving people out that have spent their lives here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Emory. I take Marta everywhere. I enjoy taking Marta, which means I spend a lot of money. I want my property. It's an insult to my integrity for them to say, oh, it's a black life. It don't matter. I got a life. I enjoy my life. I do a lot of things with my life. I have neighbors that do a lot of things with their life. Transportation matters also. I spent my money. Give me my property. It's mine. It's theirs. It's not Emory's. Emory, not too long ago, had to give the Pharaoh Ramesses' body back to Egypt. Now they want us? I want my property. I want my property. I spend my money, give me my property.
Thank you.
If I went to buy a car, give me my car.
How's everyone doing? My name is Zachary Caesar. I'm the founder and CEO of Revolutionary Entertainment Group, originally from Monroe, Louisiana. So I appreciate you all for accepting me as family. Me and my partners are in the process of purchasing the Greenbrier Mall for redevelopment. We've already agreed to terms with the LOI and the purchase sale agreement. So this is a blessing because this is all a learning thing for me. It's a learning curve. I'm here for the community. I'm here to stand by you. I will do everything in my power to help push the rail line because that's literally the first thing that comes up in every meeting I go to. So with that being said, thank you all. I love you all, and I'll be here to help and support as well. Absolutely. Dr. John Eames told me I need to talk to you as well.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Zach Johnson's MPUX chair. For those of you who don't know, MPUX is where Campbellton turns to Dill. Just a couple of comments. I know we talked a little bit about if Emory was on that more Marta. I know one project that definitely wasn't was the Summer Hill BRT, which was requested by private developers in Georgia State. And I would like to know how much of our more Marta money has gone to that project instead of this project. And then also as a follow-up, there's been a number of just violations of process, and to say a joke, Marta seems to be off the rails. Our Zoom link for that update meeting didn't work. I couldn't get the info out to our community. There's just a lot of shoddy details going on that I'd like some answers to, so that's it.
We pause for a minute. We want to recognize Mayor Bill Campbell. Please stand, Mayor. Please stand. Also, Commissioner Khadijah, please stand. Commissioner, please stand. Metz, please stand. Representative Metz, please stand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll pick it up over here.
Good evening. My name is Antonita Robinson. I am the current vice chair of NPUR, a former chair of NPUR. I represent the NPUR Executive Committee. We are comprised of 11 sovereign neighborhoods, from Continental Colony to Adams Park. I am an APS kid. I'm a little bit older than Mayor Dickens and Councilmember Overstreet, but I went to Archer High. That's right, the Fighting Eagles. And we fight over here. Our entire NPU Executive Committee, we want to implore, sir, Mayor, don't let this be an either-or situation. We can do LRT, and we can also do commercial development and revitalization of this community. We work with some of our, Mark and Tabby, who owns Campbellton Delow Plaza. We've worked to get him with Commissioner King to come up with a viable plan to have that whole property be more foot traffic friendly. We are trying very hard to be what it is your vision is, what it is council members said, a lot of our council people said their vision is for better transportation. But we also know, and by the way, I grew up on the north side, northwest side. I grew up when Morris Mill Shopping Center was in rapid decline. There was one reason my parents and I moved south. There was a Big Star and a food giant over there. That area was desolate for years. Look at it now. There's a Publix. There used to be a Baskin and Robbins over there. I was happy to see that's one of the things that district brought back. Why can't we have another Red Lobster on Campbellton Road? This cannot be an either-or situation. If they owe us the light rail. We know Marta is not in the business of revitalizing communities and neighborhoods, but if it works everywhere else, I don't see why it can't work here. And we cannot take part of the package. As Sherry Williams has said, we have earned this.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Over here.
Thank you, by the way, Rev and Overstreet, for getting rid of that club on the corner. I hope that's permanent, by the way. So I appreciate your hard work. Those in the neighborhood know exactly what I'm talking about. And also to Overstreet, thank you so much for your aides, David, Frank. Every time I call, they always get back. So that's powerful to have. You know, your representatives, they're very powerful. They get back to you, they follow up. Congratulations again to Andre, who I've been knowing and working with. I also, by the way, represent two different organizations. I'm retired Internal Revenue Service. So, yeah, so retired old man. So I personally get a chance to speak to a lot of people. Sherry, we speak on the phone. She's one of my neighbors. And Larry earlier, he made a comment about, you know, political education. We got this neighborhood, like this said, is historic. So what we got to do, my comment is two parts. Is how do we get a powerful political education for that young brother that's doing the work, this young businesswoman here, so that they can, so to speak, pass the torch? Because it can be kind of overwhelming, you know, what's going on. How do we have those conversations like I'm privy to, you know, so how can we implement that? But getting back to, once again, Campbellton Road, getting activity over here. Like I see on the board, you got Mr. Johnson's here. Who heard of the Juneteenth Festival? Huge. He's right in the room. He's on Children's, my neighbor. John, stand up real quick.
So I sit on the board with him, and that's the Juneteenth Festival, which is the largest here in the country.
30 seconds.
I also sit on the board of House in the Park. So we can get some festivals over here if we can get that transportation together. Who's been to Alpharetta and saw Avalon? Why can't we redevelop with Tyler Perry or Greenbrier, those areas that have a skyline and Cascade Towers? So let's dream big. Let's do political education. Let's get Georgia Tech open back up so those young black kids can work on transportation and get some jobs. I'll stop right there.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, first of all, it just dawned on me back in the 1900s when I was at Washington High School, because I was in the West End community, we would just hop on the hop on the train, we called it bus. We would hop on the train, hit 5 Points, go to Lenox Station. Well, they have the Magic Johnson Theater over here that we never got to because there was no train to get here. Getting on the bus was like going, 100 million miles away. So this young man over here said that he was gonna start some type of Atari thing, and my little son over here, the 15-year-old, Lincoln, was perked up. Well, if his friends could hop on the train, come over here and get to his Atari station, then we build economy in our side of town. If we have a train system, all my coworkers out in Douglasville, instead of them going to Hightower Station to get to the Falcons game, they would come over here and catch the train here, and that revenue would come back to us. So this train makes all the sense in the world, but it didn't dawn on me because I was raised in the West End. I moved here to get a house for my little young one. So now I know about Darrell High School. I know about Continental Colony. But if we have a rail line, we can do what all y'all been talking about, build our community. So Mayor Dickens, please give us our rail line. Please go and hobnob. I'm trusting you because Senator Ford trusts you. I did vote for the other guy, I'm sorry, but I trust you. So just get us that Marta place over here so we can get this movie theater back open and get the Atari stand that he was talking about. I sure appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good evening. Give honor to God, who is the head of my life. Pastor Fleming, I've been here since 1991. I stayed in the same apartment for 20 years. My car was smoking. Oh, congratulations, new Mayor Dickens. My car was smoking. He said, well, somebody need to get a new car. So I got a new car. He said, I stayed in the same apartment for 20 years. He said, why would you keep on paying rent in an apartment where you can get a house? I got a new house, I got a mortgage, got about maybe 5 more years on it. But my question is, well, first of all, the Bible said, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their lands. So, the police department, please, they need some money. I make more money sitting at home than some of the police department's been working for 10 years. So let's increase that salary. Let's start with about $75,000 a year. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
Right quick, one more acknowledgement. I want to thank Commissioner Khadijah Rakdil Atman for coming this evening.
Good evening. I'm Mary Parker, and I want to say to everyone here today that I am so very encouraged of what I'm hearing. I'm feeling a unity, a uniting of a community with elected officials, with our school people, as well as our business community. I have a story to share. When I moved to Campbellton Road, I didn't have to move there, but I love the people of the Southwest Atlanta. So I moved down the street from Pastor Fleming's, and that was one of my first stops when I came here to learn what was going on and what the needs of the community were. I tried to close on my property located at 2800 Campbellton Road, Junction 2800, which is the home of the Mary Parker Foundation, with a mission to stamp out underserved communities. That's what I'm hearing here, Pastor. When I came here in 1992, it was also a very thriving community. We can get that back. With the conversations we're having here this evening, that is our gateway. But here's the thing I want to share with you. When I said to my friends and colleagues that I'm moving my nonprofit to Southwest Atlanta, they actually laughed at me. But thank God for people like Councilwoman Overstreet. We had difficulties closing the building, but one call, that was all. She answered the call. And we've worked very closely together on everything that we're doing. Thank you also, Attorney Griggs. You've also been very, very instrumental in the things we're doing. And Mayor Dickens, you know that we absolutely adore you. And we're here to be your partner in accomplishing your missions in Southwest Atlanta. And I'm very, very grateful because I heard the young lady just read a scripture from Chronicles 17:14, or may have that different. But there's also a scripture that I stand on, and I challenge all of you who God have given wisdom and knowledge, that the scripture I'm referring to, it says that my people, you're my people. I came to Southwest Atlanta for my people. The word says my people perish from the lack of knowledge. I believe that if we become very aggressively seeking to bring resources unlimited, such as technology, such as healthcare, education, all the other benefits that will help us thrive as we're building together a Southwest Atlanta that shall live forever. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
How everybody doing? My name is Chris Brown, and it just feels good to be in the church for one reason, you know what I mean? To see people congregating together and coming out for a good old fight. You know, I'm four generations in being in Southwest Atlanta, and I remember riding the 83 to going down to Greenbrier, you know what I mean, MBK, late nights, you know what I mean, trying to get back home to catch that last bus. I got family that stay up and down Cascade and Campbellton Road, so I had to come up here and speak because I got one of the King's wildest dreams, and we all here for a good fight. But we don't want to fight too long because we've been fighting this pandemic for too long. And so therefore it's been already said that what needs to happen in terms of the agreements that Mayor Dickens has such elaborated on, and we feel confident, you know. So take the word back to Marta. We understand they're not in the church because you can't tell lies in the church. You know what I mean? So I respect them for not coming to the church, but as you do that audit, I would ask that you do an impact summary, because where I come from, if you take some money, if you get some money that or misappropriated, you get a thing called garnishment, you know? And so we need to do an impact summary on future withholdings from Marta if they don't comply to what we need. Like, if that requires us to go to session, we're still in session right now. So let's go ahead and take the opportunity while doing that audit and do the things that's necessary and send the right tone. We understand that they move some commas and some zeros and some other things around. Just go reconfigure that to get us what we need, and these good people go home and be happy.
Thank you. Thank you. Right here. Yep, that's the last one in this line, I believe.
Yeah. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
All right. Hi, good evening, everybody. Really glad to see all of you here. I'm very glad that people are engaged. Thank you so much to our representatives as well as the Reverend for, you know, hosting this. This is very important. I was furious over the weekend when I saw the news about this, and I was very heartened to also see that there was this legislation coming around to account for the money that all of a sudden was unfeasible for this project, right? In terms of it not being feasible, I'm kind of at a loss, though, because the city itself is the entity that restripes roads, right? So what is Marta bringing to the table in terms of BRT that it's going to cost the $150 million? Is it just the stations and the vehicles? Because that doesn't make any sense to me, right? At the end of the day, all of this is likely going to fall on ATL DOT, or that's how it seems with Summerhill BRT. They're just asking for a road restripe. They're not going to do a different color on the route for the street. They're not going to have any physical dividers. How are the renderings any accurate representation of what they're going to deliver here if they're not even doing that for the folks downtown, which is one of the projects that we would assume is one of the nicer ones, right? So I would really love to see whatever comes out of this investigation in terms of the financing for this entire project. And honestly, where is the city involved with this? What is the expectation of Marta? Is APD going to do lane enforcement? That was the accepted thing whenever they were talking about Summerhill BRT. That was their response to it. That's how we won't have another 17th Street in the city. So I would really ask that you deeply look into where even the $150 million is supposed to be going, if at the end of the day, that's all we do. And in my last 15 seconds, I wanted to say I'm Alan Babelinski. I'm Transportation Chair in NPUT. Very glad to see all of the other representation from the NPUs. And yeah, you folks know me. We've spoken, me and all of you. If you have any more questions regarding my weird questions, I'm happy to bring them up. Thank you so much.
All right, I have to interrupt you. We don't want to lose our mayor, and let's not give him too much at one time. He's not God. He's human. And I've been in this business a long time. I've seen vice presidents stand here. The president of the United States, Mr. Clinton, gave that $100 million. Then a dime of it come to Camden Road. And I have talked with Stacy, all of them. But we have some powerful people here tonight, but we can't stop here. I need us, always had, most mayors came to my office, and the thing they would always tell me, give me 3 things and nothing else. Don't give me too much, or I won't get nothing done. Give him time. He's just getting in the office. He's a nice fellow. I called Bill and asked about him. Bill said he's a good man, Reverend. And you know, all of you know how I am. Once I'm committed, I don't change. And I with Cassine Reed to the very end. I presided over his prayer breakfast and everything else. But he came and he spoke here. I told Cassine, I'm with him. I'm with him every step of the way. Whoever wins, we have to get on board. But don't give him too much. Let him come and say, all right, give me 3 things to work on, and he'll get more done than just dumping everything in his lap. I've seen that happen, and mayors not getting nothing done. And I think tonight he can leave here if he say a word about 3 projects that he really can look into as to what he can do. So let's have him now before he leaves.
Thank you, Reverend Fleming. I appreciate that. And always good to see Mayor Bill Campbell. Give him another round of applause. You know, that's a mayor that always looked out for the people.
Yeah.
And really would roll up his sleeves to get
Yes,
involved. And he's here today, and I'm glad to see him. And again, I spoke earlier to set the record straight about how we got to this point. I did want to read some more of that ordinance that I put together years ago that passed in 2016, again with foresight that this moment may come, that once it was time to start moving the dirt and making the final selection, that we had to be wise enough to think this through. So I'm going to read what we put in, and you can write this down and look it up. It's our ordinance 16-0-1442. All right. No, I'm sorry. 16R. I'm sorry. Scratch that. 16R 4041. 16R 4041. And so that means it's 2016. And I'll just read the now therefore be it resolved clauses. Someone asked about hiring folks to make sure they work on these projects when they live in this community. It says, be it therefore resolved that the city's construction contracts for transportation projects are subject to the city's first source program, which requires that contractors use efforts to fill entry-level positions from a register of eligible job seekers maintained by Atlanta Workforce Development Agency, and the city reaffirms its commitment to this program for all T-SPLOS transportation projects. That means that when this project comes out, got to hire local folks from here. The next one is to be able to make sure that the city's construction contracts for transportation projects are subject to the city's disadvantaged business enterprise requirements, which are designed to promote meaningful opportunities for participation by historically disadvantaged minority and female-owned businesses. And the city reaffirms its commitment to this program for all transportation projects, that all Marta tax projects will be subject to Marta's policies and programs regarding workforce development and contracting opportunities, which currently include a DBE program goal of 30% disadvantaged businesses and those guidelines. And that the city is committed to partnering with Marta to coordinate Marta tax and T-Splosh transportation project list and plan so as to ensure a geographically equitable phase-in and implementation of the transportation projects across the city. And that's what we wrote in 2016 to know that when this day came, when we start hiring contractors, when we start picking projects, when we start doing stuff and we start having contractors and jobs, that this stuff was going to be done equitably. And who co-signed this policy with me is Kwanzaa Hall. Kwanzaa Hall is walking in. He was a council member at the time. Give Congressman Kwanzaa Hall, former council member. Yeah, and he was the second signer. It was he and I that created that policy that said it had to be equitable. So I wanted to just share that because we're not going to come out here and let them get, anybody change what we already wrote. This policy's here. This is what we agreed to, that $317 million is slated for this area. Now, we have to decide, are we going to do LRT or BRT? And I heard y'all, a lot of y'all said LRT. And so the deal is, the money's there. This is the money that we, use as our sales tax, and the policy that I wrote along with Kwanzaa signed off on and co-wrote with me is that we're gonna have equity. And so that's what we're standing on right now. We're standing on a policy that we created, and we're gonna make sure we carry it all the way through. Now, somebody also asked about economic development, and that S&S cafeteria, that Campbellton and Delowe, you know how we say Campbellton looks about the same for the last 25 years, 30 years? And we talked about Tim Keene and others came there. Councilmember Overstreet, I'm doing ride-alongs with the council members. As mayor, I'm putting them in the car and we going around. First stop that Councilmember Overstreet and I went to was we were talking about we need good groceries on the south side. Good grocery stores. We need to make sure we have good grocery stores, a pharmacy, and this is a sign of a healthy community. A healthy community has good quality groceries, fresh vegetables, nourishment, and financial support like a good bank. We don't have any banks. Think about it, you don't even have a bank. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking about where you actually need to be able to have these services available to you and that you can actually get to it, and that's what rapid transit would provide. And so I've already started working on a deal. The same people that did the Morris Mill Bolton Road project that I was a part of as an at-large council member are the same folks that we're about to take down here this week. Upcoming, we're going to be riding with them, talking to that developer. I already got the number in mind of how much it costs to buy that out and to redevelop it so that we can have mixed use, meaning you would have a grocery store on the bottom with the shops and things, and then you also have housing at the top, mixed income housing. We're starting on a plan. We're looking at it, and we want to push that through. And guess what? Rapid transit helps be able to make a developer want to develop on that corridor. And so we got to get it right. We got to keep moving. And as we've assembled today, we got to keep assembling for all of the projects that we want to see done. And that's just one of them. We're going up to Donald Lee Hollowell. That's AKA Bankhead for those of us that's over 15 years old. It's Bankhead Highway for me from Adamsville. No bank exists on Bankhead Highway. No grocery store exists on Bankhead Highway. So I know we're talking about Campbellton Road. I know where we at. But I'm talking about a whole South Side elevation, a whole revolution of the South Side where all the funds that we've been putting in, it's time to get it out. And when we do it, this is me, I'm even-handed with mine. When we do it, when we say we want Red Lobster, well, Red Lobster goes away when we don't go to this Red Lobster, but we like to go to Cobb Red Lobster because they water wetter or whatever magical formula we done said to ourselves. They ice cubes are colder or something like that. Right? So if we bring something down here, we better shop down here and not take it to Cobb and let them get what they want in their tax, in their community. If we bring a new grocery store down here, we bring some quality restaurants and some things like that, because those restaurateurs are going to be taking a chance. They're going to be investing in us. It's up to us to, after Sunday church, go eat at their restaurants. After our picnics and I mean, after our, our banquets for our kids, and go there. Use those things and stop going everywhere else and forgetting ours, because that's when we start saying our service is a little less than that. Well, because they stressed out because, there ain't enough customers to pay the tips to get them to stay there. It's an economic thing. This young lady here has a store in Greenbrier. I'm proud of you for putting a store in Greenbrier at 26 years old. I want you, and you didn't even say the name on the mic real loud. You better, but when I put this mic down, I know you in line, sir, but I want her to say the name of your business so that we can support you. That's important. And that's how we do this ecosystem. And so we celebrate people who take these chances. And so when we start doing this, bringing this rail down here, and this, when we do that, it's going to attract businesses. I want us to go out here and support the people that do that, or be the people that do that. Some of you got great business ideas. It's about economic development. I've already put Invest Atlanta on notice. This part of town is where we're going to put some money. Grants, loans, investment. This is what equity is about. Hands down. And we're actually going to have a small office, because Invest Atlanta is downtown. We're coming out. I'm putting little offices, campuses in the south side and one in the west side, so that you don't have to go downtown to be able to talk to somebody about loan potentials and down payment assistance and these kind of things. We are about to decentralize some of this stuff so you can have access to it. And that's important to have here in this area. Last thing I'll say is, Councilmember Overstreet, you deserve a round of applause for putting this together. Councilmember Lewis. And where's Miss Boone? Where did Councilwoman Boone go? She's hiding around here somewhere. Councilmember Boone.
This is a Boone production.
Yes, Councilmember
Y'all
Boone.
know it.
All of you all.
Boone production.
Councilmember Waits. No, I'm getting all of them. I was looking for Boone. Oh, there she is back there. Yeah, Councilmember Boone, Councilmember Waits, Councilmember Bond, and we did have Dozier, and we did have Westmoreland, and now, of course, we got Commissioners Abdurrahman, and we got Commissioner Hall, and we had Rob Pitts. And then we also had Ishay Collins from the school board. Never forget the importance of the Atlanta public school system. As a Mays High Raider, I'm so in love with our school system. Never forget the importance of Marta for them, for our teachers that get to the school each day. So all of that to say, I stand with y'all, and we're going to keep fighting the good fight to make sure we get everything that we need. Remember, when we put that Beltline plan together, the first thing I did, along with Councilmember Bottoms, she and I said, we got to get them trained. We got to get this stuff down in Southwest Atlanta, too. And so we said, let's take it all the way down to Greenbrier. And so you, young man, that's about to redevelop Greenbrier, and Marcy, you should definitely tell everybody about the other 4 developments that are coming around Greenbrier, because everybody don't know. They think, woe is me, we ain't got nothing. No, people coming. It's coming. We got new developments coming around Greenbrier, and so we ought to be alert and aware of that. So if you live around here, make sure you stay in your house, because they don't start calling you to start to buy your house soon. I want you to stay here and get these good groceries that's about to come this way. Stay here and get these good rapid transit that's coming this way. Stay here and get all these great economic activities. And then when you stay here, I want us to also shop here and take your kid to the At Promise Center or to the Walter and Andrew Young YMCA for your after-school programs, because they are doing technology training. My Tech Bridge program is there right now, training kids how to code, how to fix iPhones, how to fly drones. We got it on the south side. Now we got to go support it. But let's do more, and I'll see y'all soon.
Thank you so much, Mayor Dickens.
One thing not forget, Mayor. No matter what you bring here, if you don't do something about the crime, everything come here is going to die. So we got to get this crime down. I don't care what you bring here. They're scared to go in the restaurant. So we got to make sure we focus. Oh, I hope you think
Okay.
about that. We're going to really have to stop and let him go.
I know.
need to let him get out here now and go to work and take care of business. Now look, you can watch this the rest of the night. No matter who hacked it, the Zoom, whatever happened, that's another thing we need to watch. We're prepared that this is live streaming. The information is up there. Go to Praise Move, which is on YouTube and Facebook, Mount Carmel Baptist Church, and you can watch this entire meeting tonight. Back to you, Ms. Overstreet.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We
sir.
have another speaker.
Vincent Ford.
And
Thank you.
we'll close it out. But, right quick, beforehand, the thing that I asked you all to take pictures of to get to send your messages to Marta, these are board members. Someone asked me, who are they? These are the board members that preside in the Atlanta delegation on the board. And they're the ones that will make these decisions in the board meetings. And that's Rob Mullis, Reggie Snyder, Cinder, and Robbie Ash. And I put those email addresses here. And of course, I added Collie Greenwood, who is the CEO. I put his email address there also, so that everyone will know who to contact about what you'd like to see in our investment on Campbellton Road, our promise. Thank you. Okay.
Was Marta invited to come here tonight?
Yes, we invited the board members, and Rob Mullis did come, and yes, and the CEO. So, but this, so here's the thing.
Did the CEO come?
So I didn't take roll.
Okay, let me just say
But
this. Let me say this. It is the height of disrespect for this council member who represents this neighborhood to invite Marta, and they ain't even brought a janitor.
No.
Rod Mullis is here.
Yes.
But the CEO should have been here.
So, but guess what? I wanted this to be about us. So,
You're being nicer to me.
Okay, I'll take that.
Nicer to me. You have been disrespected. Who pays Greenwood's salary? You do. All these folks. Who pay Erica Pine's salary, who's trying to push this through? You do. And it's the height of disrespect. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I've been fighting for a long time. But I know why they're being...
Good evening. My name is Edwin. I don't have to be polite. There are a lot of people, the politicians, going along with it. Those decisions couldn't have been made for this. And where somebody in that group, he needs the rail. I leave rapid rail. You can't sit. That bus gonna be right.
Here's our last speaker.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I'm disappointed. And I hope they did them 2 meetings, and they had a bad experience with buses, and we try to serve nice things, you know. It's new technology, so I implore this like everyone to do your homework. It's a good city, and it's gonna be more. Let's get this right. Connect, then I will do it. So
Really is our last speaker. But
Thank y'all for putting the transit union. These are the Marta workers. We make sure, along with Rosa Parks, if you look at it, so if you taking away 300 community, so I drove, I understand what's going on in this, that LRT, the express lanes are outside. It needs to be in place to stand. Our eyes open. When we talk, what is it? Look, the senior citizens.
we need to research the Reach Department, the Congressman Kwanzaa Hall. Thank you so much for Kay. This is about road right, the whole Atlanta, and we know what an opportunity for not just the city of Atlanta, Marta's connection, stood what it took, that 3 will alleviate so much more of the traffic, because people would flock to Campbellton Road. Who asked for a grocery store to give that away? It doesn't even $17 million promise. That's crazy. Road. We're not tired. We're going to keep on until that happens. Online listening. I hear that our Zoom was hacked and didn't. as soon as possible. So again, thank you very much. And my office stands.
Glasses, I have them here. And the Perry committee show up here tonight. Anybody understand is invest about $400 million in the neighborhood. We're teaming up with Tyler Perry. This night, we thank you for the crowd that will keep up what is right. And we ask you to guide us as we lead. In Jesus' name, amen.